Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot, and it is that time again, my favorite series. It is the monthly love tarot reading. All right, we are going to check in for Capricorn for September, and we are going to get right into it, Capricorn, and pull out your romance angel messages for the month. All right, here we go. We're going to pull out 2 romantic feelings. Beautiful. All right, talking about loving each other up, being romantic, making an effort. Separation. All right, Capricorn, these are the 2 cards. I pulled 2 romance cards, and then we get into your 9-card spread. At the bottom of the deck, of course, though, we have Worth Waiting For. All right, so we're going to check, we're going to do bottom of the decks with this reading. We're going to do traditional Rider-Waite deck reading. Pull out 9 cards and see what that all means for you, Capricorn. All right, for those who are my regulars, you know what the drill is with these monthly love readings, right? Take what resonates and what doesn't resonate. Enjoy throwing that away. This is a fairly long reading. I try not to make them too long, but we get right into it with the monthlies, all right? So check back throughout the month. Sometimes you may get insights throughout the month from the readings. All right, what's going on with our beautiful Capricorn sign of the goat, associated with the 15, the devil card, highest card in the deck for creativity. Let's see what's going on for September. All right, we have 2 of Wands, the Fool, and 10 of Swords. We have King of Wands, 9 of Pentacles at the center of the reading, Page of Wands. We have a 9 of Cups, 3 of Cups, and we have a 5 of Wands. Wow. All right. All right, first and foremost, let me just get this straightened up. I can't stand it when the camera is not straight, guys. All right. At the bottom of the deck, we have the moon. All right. So the moon indicates Cancerian energy. The moon, when we see the moon coming up at the bottom of the deck this month, is all about your feelings. Feelings that perhaps you weren't used to having, Capricorn, okay? You're starting to go into unknown territory this month. So the entire month for you is going to have a feeling of kind of like exploring the unknown, in particular with regard to how you feel, how you are in relationships, what you desire in relationships, all right? It's going to be certainly an exploration for you into areas that you have not gone into within yourself before, Capricorn. All right, so let's get right into it. With the 2 of Wands, we see Mars in Aries energy. So you're feeling very ambitious this month. You're feeling like you're really ready to move forward with that seed that you've sown. This is certainly a desire to go out in the world and really manifest your dreams, right? 2 of Wands is very forward-thinking and active, right? You certainly feel like you're a fool right now in terms of whenever the Fool shows up in readings, this is representative of the Querent being on their life path. The Querent is the person who we're doing the reading for. So when the Fool shows up, Capricorn, it reminds us that we need to really pay attention to this time of our lives, because there's about to be a fundamental shift. You may take a new journey. You may go left. You may go right. You're going to take the first steps onto a very new chapter or path in your life. And it's when we make these type of movements that we want to really pay attention. Certainly when you're driving forces, your career, as we see here with the 2 of Wands, the changes that are coming up are certainly going to be career driven to a certain degree. Now, 2 of Wands can also indicate relationships. So it can also be a desire to move towards a particular relationship. But that is usually a very subtle energy, right? Two of Wands is very much more, like I said before, Mars and Aries. So really taking your life's passion, whether you're an artist or whatever your career is, you're going to feel very passionate about that career. It's not just a punch a clock career, right? And so you want to move forward with that. But you have certainly come out of a very difficult stage, a Ten of Swords. So Ten of Swords talks about a time in your life, a stage in your life that is now over, but that has really taken its toll on you. And it's taken its toll on you to such a degree that it's basically killed the old ego, right? That's the old you laying there as a metaphor, right? That's the old ID of you, or identity of you. It's your ego. And what happens is when we go through very difficult trials and tribulations or stages in our lives that really knock our ego down, we learn a lot of lessons from that. You know, we kind of find a deeper sense of self-confidence that is not necessarily reliant on ego. And so the ego dies. And what rises out of that, the new stage that comes out of that, is almost always a stronger person, a more mature person, and certainly a person whose ego is evolved. Oftentimes when you go through a Ten of Swords situation, you're feeling, you'll end up reevaluating a lot of your choices or a lot of your goals, a lot of your dreams, because they no longer apply to sort of the new you that has been resurrected out of the ashes of the old you. This is certainly a closing of a very, very difficult chapter for you. Perhaps a difficult chapter that involved a lot of working, mental functioning, thinking. It could be a bad relationship, could be a tricky, it doesn't have to be bad. It could have just been difficult as well. It could have been a relationship that was really like fraught with a lot of ups and downs, right? This does not necessarily mean that the period that you've been through was negative per se, but it was difficult. It was hard on you. It took a lot out of you. It was a learning lesson, right? So that's, you know, we don't talk in terms of negative, right? When we deal with the tarot, we talk in much more subtle energies. So yes, it was difficult. There were trials and tribulations, and you certainly took a lot of digs and a lot of hurt and pain. Your ego definitely suffered, but like I said, in a very resurrectory, positive way. You have a King of Wands here now. And that seems to indicate somebody who is in your life who has a lot of influence, right? They also have a lot of ambition, but they have a little bit more experience than you have, Capricorn. They've already been through some of the places that you're trying to go in terms of, not necessarily and specifically with regard to your career, but in terms of your desire, right? In terms of your desire, what you are ambitious for, right? And so now this person could very well be a love interest, right? This could be someone that you feel romantic towards. This person, though, is definitely very established. And of course, my readings are not gender specific, right? But this King of Wands could be a little bit older, could be the same age as you, right? It could be male or female, but they're very established in what they do. They're very determined. They're very forward thinking. All right. And right now they are very much looking at their career. Now it could be that this person is quite new in your life coming in, right? We'll get back to this one because this King of Wands has something else going on. But I want to read the rest of the cards until we get back to it. So at the center of the reading is usually an identification with yourself. And so Nine of Pentacles indicates certainly that, yeah, you have been this kind of on this journey to get, you know, to get a certain status, achieve a certain level of abundance, right? To achieve your goals with regard to your career. Nine of Pentacles definitely indicates someone who's really been very independent. Their career certainly comes first. They've taken care of themselves physically and mentally, financially. But this has been at to the cost of their personal lives, right? So some of you Capricorns have really been on this mission, but you've kind of sacrificed a relationship. You've sacrificed getting close with someone, and now you find yourself a little bit in this beautiful garden that you've built up for yourself, but unfortunately you're enjoying it on your own. And I think for some of you, and we all go through this as well, not all of us, but highly ambitious individuals go through stages like this, because a lot of times following your ambition, which is your heart's desire, takes a lot of time, right? And effort and concentration. And you sit, when you're doing that part, or you're following that part of your life, it's very hard to have a relationship. But this King of Wands is coming in, and I think they're making you sort of rethink the possibility of now really reaching out and making time for someone to be in your life. There's a Page of Wands energy coming in as well, and this is a sense of renewed creativity. I think you're also feeling that in yourself, and that could be why your romantic feelings are starting to stir. This King of Wands as well, though, is like a master of creativity and being creative in his life in many ways, right? And it could just be that coming across this individual has kind of opened up your creativity, right? Page of Wands definitely talks about stages in our lives where we feel kind of young again. We feel renewed again. Page of Wands is that kind of energy that, like, say, for instance, you're in your 50s and suddenly you decide to join a nudist colony because it's like you're having your youth all over again, right? It's that kind of very free, fiery, creative expression, very youthful, but it's the feeling oftentimes of it being brought back into your life, being rejuvenated, right? And I think, Capricorn, that's really happening for some of you. So you're having this kind of emotional awakening. You're having this very creative awakening. And it's interesting because for some of you, it does feel very much like moon energy, because you just haven't really spent a lot of time on that side of yourself. And so this is very new territory for you, right? Now, for some of you, this feeling is very much a wish fulfillment. I want to say that some of you have been waiting for quite some time for someone to come into your life that makes you feel like making room for them. And again, I want to say this King of Wands is this really quite incredible individual who also highly intuitive and spiritually connected, this person, who's also kind of opening up doors for wish fulfillment for you, right? It could be that having a relationship with this type of person has been a wish of yours. Sometimes we hold off on relationships because we wait for that divine feminine or divine masculine individual, right? Or we wait for somebody who has to fulfill a very perfect ideal, because otherwise you're very happy just being on your own. You're very happy just, stacking your coin and following your own ambition and being a high-powered whatever. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you have that kind of energy, you're so comfortable with yourself that in order to make room for someone, even though it is a deep down, not even that deep down, but it is a very strong wish of yours, you still are able to really hold out for almost like Mr. Perfect, Mr. Right. This individual, King of Wands, I think is presenting and maybe giving you a feeling of that. Now, some of you are certainly going to be interacting with this person in a very social scene. 3 is the number for bonding, right? And remember here, 9 is the major arcana number associated with the Hermit. And this is what I was talking about in terms of being alone and on your own. 9 of Cups talks about wish fulfillment, but again, in the 9 of Cups, sometimes you see this character, it's like he got everything he wanted, but he is on his own. He's very obstinate, and so in this way, he's been spoiled by getting his wishes, right? But ultimately, what he wished for never included necessarily the right connection to have a long-term relationship. And so again, we have a person who is seated right before the 10, a completion. That's usually a very positive and harmonious card, again, alone in the 9, okay? I just wanted to reiterate that because that caught my eye. But the 3 is a number of bonding and loyalty. And with the 3 of Cups, it is oftentimes interpreted as third-party energy, but in fact, it's more to do with celebrating with like-minded individuals, celebrating with your social scene, with your friends, your tribe. It's a sense of celebrating the fact that you found friends, that you found people in this life that you have empathy with and compassion with, who understand you, right? And so for some of you, you're having a very, very social month this September. There's a lot of partying and frolicking going on, and you love that, right? But there's also some power struggle this month, Capricorn. You have a 5 of Wands. So there's going to be some headbutting somewhere there, and I think that's also going to be part of your social group. Some of it may be to do with this opening of creativity that you have, right? This new renewed sense of creativity may get some of your friends' hackles up, or you may end up finding yourself coming head to head with individuals that you normally would have not even encountered had it not been for this like opening up of your creative side. But this is okay, Capricorn, because all of this opens you up to bringing love in. So I want to say this is very much a reading for the Capricorn who has not met their soulmate, or has not necessarily had the time for a very deep connected relationship, but is now awakening to that, awakening to the desire for that. It's been worth waiting for, though, because you are indeed coming across someone socially who is representing that for you. And I think that representation is very much aligned with this King of Wands energy. The person could be very, very fiery, could indeed have a lot of fire in their chart. King of Wands is indeed fire of fire energy. So you're talking about, the hottest of them all, the ones that burn very brightly. And you're turned on by that, Capricorn. For some of you, and certainly I would say for those of you, and I hope that this message resonates with you that are tuning into this video for September, you are certainly resonating with that kind of Capricorn that enjoys a little bit of fire in their mate, right? For whatever reason. All right. So this is a very interesting spread for you guys this month. Certainly, like I said, there's going to be a lot of social activity. Mind your ways, or mind your step, I'm going to say. Not your ways, but mind your step with this 5 of Wands. This seems to come in towards the end of the month, and it's just a bit of headbutting. It could be quite innocent power struggle between friends, just trying to get the upper hand. It doesn't necessarily have to be so nefarious. However, it's interesting that it will come in at the end of the month. And it could also just be jealousies, right? Things like that. Again, a lot of you are dealing with emotions, just like the moon indicates, Cancerian energy. You're dealing with emotions that you haven't really dealt with for quite some time, or probably ever. Really, some of you are certainly delving into areas of yourself that you haven't delved before. Remember, you're coming out of a 10 of Swords, which fundamentally shifts the type of ego that you have. It usually vibrates your ego a little bit higher. You become a little bit less selfish, a little bit more compassionate. And all of these things this usually ends up translating into a higher level of self-love. Once you start to bring in a higher level of self-love, you start to open yourself up to other sides of life, because you want to, part of loving yourself is allowing yourself to live fully and freely and according to your heart, your true heart, right? And so these are some of the knock-on effects that happen when you come out of a 10 of Swords kind of energy. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. This is your love reading for the month of September for the sign of Capricorn. If you want to stop here, that's fine. I'm going to ask you if this reading resonated with you. Please like and subscribe, share the video. But if you'd like to go a little bit deeper into this reading, you can now go on over to my Patreon site, where we're going to pull some Thoth deck cards And we'll probably pull some oracle cards as well, just to see what the oracle has to say about your month ahead. All right, guys, but other than that, thank you so much for stopping by to my favorite series, the monthly love reading, the monthly love tarot readings for all the zodiac signs. I love you, Capricorn. Have a wonderful month ahead, and I shall see you this month for sure at the mid-month love check-in. Bye-bye.